So here's something crazy. This specific bad egg will automatically beat Pokemon Emerald. This is because when you hatch it, it automatically takes you to the Hall of Fame. But here's the twist, it only works 3% of the time. Now I know this sounds like a made up rumor that we used to tell each other on the playground when we were kids, but this is a 100% real glitch that speedrunner Merp found. Now in the past, I've talked on this channel about speedrunning tricks and mechanics for the any percent glitchless category of Pokemon games. But today we're going to be looking at the any percent category. For most games, this is the default category that shows up when you type a game in on speedrun.com. So let's start with the weirdest part. What is this bad egg? How do you get one? And why do you need it? Well, if you grew up playing Pokemon with these bad boys, you might have encountered bad eggs on your own. In simple terms, a bad egg is what pops up when you mess with Pokemon's internal data. In this case, speedrunners will get the game to corrupt this Abra, and the corrupted Abra has a 1 in 32 chance to become the egg that will teleport us instantly to victory. Now, normally bad eggs don't hatch. They usually just take up space and make you freak out thinking that your game's save file is about to delete itself. But how do you get the Abra to corrupt into a bad egg? Well, remember at the beginning of Pokemon Emerald when you meet this guy Devin in the forest and you see this Jack Sparrow wannabe take his goods, and then after you get out of the forest you have to run his ass down into a tunnel? Well, this route before the tunnel is where you manipulate the RNG. How RNG manipulation works is a complicated topic in of itself, so for the sake of simplicity, all you need to know is that speedrunners make this level 7 female Abra appear on this exact tile and guarantee they catch it on the first try with a Great Ball. So what you need to know about this Abra is that its stats are key. It needs exactly 6 EVs in attack and 17 EVs in HP. Once you have that Abra with those specific stats, you deposit it into this exact spot in this exact box of the PC. At this point, you're probably looking at these box names and wondering if part of the speedrun involves summoning demons, but no, that's just what we call an arbitrary code execution, or ACE for short. And if you thought that we were already on some complicated nerd shit, no, my friend. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The basic idea behind ACE is that by putting these specific characters as names for your boxes, you're essentially shoving code into where it doesn't belong and forcing the game to follow the instructions you're giving it. So you have to change the name of every box to these weird strings of characters, and you can't fuck up a single character. And by doing that, we're making the game read those characters as code. Again, don't ask me how speedrunners were able to figure this part out. We're deep enough in the rabbit hole already. So it's this code that you type in that tells the game to go from hatching the bad egg to the Hall of Fame cutscene. Okay, I just want to take the time to remind you all that this is being done in the context of a speedrun. So even though it looks simple to enter these characters in, you're doing it as quick as you can and probably while reading the characters off a separate screen from the one you're playing. And as thankful as I am that you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, I've been getting some really dumb comments, just some absolutely single-digit IQ shit from you guys, saying things like, the rival fight isn't hard, I already level up so I can take him out with one hit. Bro, of course it's not hard for you. You're not doing a speed run. Use your brains for once, please. Ugh. Anyway, so if you were wondering how Abra gets its 6 EVs in attack and 17 in HP like I mentioned earlier, we give Abra the EXP share during the 4th gym. This is where Marshtomp comes in, and despite us talking mostly about Abra, Marshtomp is actually a pretty crucial part of the run. That's because except for the specific Abra manip, this run is pretty much identical to the glitchless speedrun up until Norman. I've done a video before on how tough the Norman fight can be, but in any percent, on top of everything we normally have to face, we want to beat Norman with as low HP as possible in order to set up for this grand finale final glitch that I'll talk about later. If your Marshtomp has more than 20 HP by the end of this fight, you actually start losing time. And on top of that, because Marshtomp is sharing EXP, we don't gain levels as quickly during this run, making everything even tougher. So the strat is to have just enough HP after beating Linoon that we can live a counter from slacking. After that Norman fight, you still have 2 problems though. The first is that even after this fight, Abra still needs 4 HP EVs and 4 attack EVs. The second is that we need our Marshtomp exactly at 1 HP for the final setup. Fortunately, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by going to Route 1 and fainting Wild Poochyena, which give attack EVs, and Wild Wurmple, which give HP EVs. And we use Marshtomp's takedown in order to get its HP lower. Alright, so with all of that covered, there's one final glitch that is used to set everything into motion. The pomeg berry glitch. Also known as glitzer popping, the pomeg berry glitch is pretty infamous in the community, and for that reason, I'm not going to go super deep into how it works. Go pull up this video by Poketips if you want to go deep into that stuff, but the basic explanation is this. The pomeg berry raises friendship but lowers HP EVs, so if you use it on a Pokemon at 1 HP, it lowers the HP EVs until it has 0 or even less than 0 health. So after we deposit our Abra, we make sure every other Pokemon besides Marshtomp is fainted, and then use the pomeg berry while he's at 1 HP. Here is where the crazy shit starts. Okay, so normally the only reason you'd have a fully fainted party of Pokemon is if you just lost a battle. But because you didn't lose a battle, the game doesn't actually realize that you have a fully fainted party of Pokemon. So you end up sending this guy out, which is just the game's way of saying, I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. And then just to fuck with the game even more, you check the summary of your fainted Marshtomp, exit out of the summary, and then start scrolling upwards past the cancel button. Normally, scrolling up past the cancel button should just place you at the last Pokemon in your party. But because the game thinks you have 0 Pokemon in your party because they're all fainted, it'll just keep scrolling, and without getting into super complicated backend stuff, that is what triggers the game to turn Abra into a bad egg. After that, we try to run from the battle, which is now when the game finally checks and realizes our party is completely fainted, and it'll white us out and send us to the closest Pokemon Center. Finally, we check the bad egg to see if it has a nest ball. Don't ask why, the video is already long enough as it is. And if it does, you hatch it and you get this horrifying Glitchmon, and you instantly teleported to the Hall of Fame. That was a doozy. And we didn't even fully cover why Mudkip is the ideal starter for all of this. But that's a topic best saved for another day.